Hello. I just got back from Goodwill. I purchased, in anticipation of what's arriving tomorrow, which is a record player, I purchased some records. Because until now, I only had 2 records. Well, maybe a third is floating around somewhere in the house, but yeah, who knows. But the 2 that I do know I have are both the Doors. As you may or may not know, that's my favorite band by far. Yeah, I love the Doors. So I have 2 of their albums on vinyl. But I decided, since I am getting a record player, first let me tell you about my experience with record players. I haven't actually listened to music on vinyl in probably 20 years at least. That would put me at about 20, not to give anything away. Yeah, so it's been a long time since I listened to anything on vinyl. Probably because I haven't had a record player in that long. But believe it or not, they do still make record players, and that I'm very happy about. And you can get some very cheaply. I think I mentioned on Facebook actually that I just got one for $37 including shipping, and brand new. So yeah, it's just one of these little portable ones. So yeah, I'm not expecting a whole lot out of it. The reviews I read basically said that the speakers are garbage. Well, some people said they're decent, but I suspect I'm gonna just plug in, external speakers so it can sound better. Yeah, so that is coming tomorrow. So in preparation for that, I went to Goodwill, because you can always guarantee that thrift stores are going to have records. It's just one of the things they always carry. And the Goodwill here actually had a really good selection. I think the Salvation Army might have a better selection, but this one was pretty darn good. So I let's put it this way, I found 12 records, which I'm going to share with you right now. But basically, the thing about listening to music on vinyl, and I was reminded this by someone that had reviewed the record player that I ended up purchasing. They described it that basically listening to a record on vinyl is connecting you to the music in a very real way that listening to music on your iPod or computer or tablet or whatever just can't achieve, because there's a natural separation there between you and the music. I mean, you're listening to computer data basically, which sounds very clinical, and it really is. So basically, he said that listening to music on vinyl is connecting you back to the music in a very physical, action-oriented sort of way, very personal. Because you put the record on the turntable, you place the needle on the record, you hear the clicks and the pops, and the record is moving, and then the music kicks in, and the song finishes, you hear more clicks and pops. Of course you're hearing clicks and pops throughout also, but those quiet moments are actually quite endearing, because you just hear those clicks and pops, and to me there's just, I grew up in the age of vinyl, so there's something to be said for those clicks and pops that you hear in that silent moment between songs. And then you get through the songs on the first side, and it gets to the end of the record. Yeah, the end of the record, and then if you don't have one of the fancy ones that does the automatic return, which I actually don't like, and the one I have, it's as cheap as you can get, so it does not have that automatic return. It's completely manual. The turntable doesn't start spinning until you move the needle over, and then you set it, and then it doesn't stop until you move it back, and you have to move it back by hand. So there's also something to be said when you get to the end of the record and you do that click whoosh, click whoosh, click whoosh, just on and on until you actually change it. And then you flip it over. You know, it's very... You have to be present when you're listening to a record. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that and kind of reconnecting with the music. Alright, but we're almost 6 minutes in, and I haven't even gotten to the records yet, and there's 12 of them, so we'll just assume this is going to be a long video. How long, I don't know, but I'll try and keep it under 10 minutes, but we'll see. Okay. A lot of the ones I picked up, I'm just flipping through them here real quick, are basically either jazz or classical or old-timey music. To me, that I mean, I don't know that I would necessarily want to listen to a modern band on vinyl. There's few exceptions. Amy Winehouse, I would love to hear on vinyl. Radiohead would be interesting to hear on vinyl, but they're not one of those bands that their music would be best listened to on vinyl, I don't think. I don't know that their music really lends itself to vinyl, even though they did put out some albums on vinyl, just, you know, within the last few years, basically. Yeah, so I think old-timey music or classical music is best suited to vinyl. So, without further ado, the first one I picked up, and one of the pleasures of vinyl is the sheer size of the albums. I mean, when you bought a CD, I mean, who buys a CD even anymore? I don't, but when you bought a CD, you know, is like that big. And the artwork, you can't really appreciate it. I mean, it's tiny. So on vinyl, you can appreciate the artwork, and I mean, they could write like an essay on the back. Of course, no, this is in English. Some of them that I purchased, the writing on the back is actually in a different language. But yeah, so this is the first one, Maurice Ravel. I'm horrible with pronunciation of classical names. I do really love classical music, but I'm not the most educated when it comes to classical music. Yeah, so there's the first one. I love the artwork on this, the two cats. That is awesome, and the boy with the birds flying around. I bought this more for the artwork than I did for the album itself, although it is classical, so I am looking forward to that. That's the first one. This one, this one I actually got specifically for my wife. Let me tell you why. Well, you see, she loves the sound of music, and when I was discussing the record player with her, I was asking her where her dad's records were, because I always remembered them being right by the kitchen door in her mother's house. Well, actually the dining room door, but leading towards the kitchen. And I would always see an album of Percy Faith there. And it always caught my mind because at the time she had a dog named Percy. So Percy Faith, yeah. Yeah, so this is like catching two birds with one hand. And, yeah, The Sound of Music by Percy Faith and his orchestra. It's decent artwork there. Nice and simple. A lot of these albums just pretty much have text on the back, like a little essay. I kind of enjoy that too. It's something you can read while you're listening to the music. This one I strictly got. Well, it is classical music. So that's one thing, and I don't know if you can see here at Goodwill, most of these records were $1.99, which the fact that you can get great music for $1.99 for an album, and plus you're getting, you know, artwork, that's a great deal. So I'm very pleased with that. Yeah. So what caught my eye about this, because I have no knowledge of the Firebird by Stravinsky. But look at these drawings. I mean, it's truly artwork. You know, that's great. We're past the 10-minute mark. I better pick up my pace here, because we have a bunch more to go. Alright, so we'll quickly go through these. I actually did get some Herb Alpert albums on eBay. And I love Herb Alpert, and I think he's going to be fantastic on vinyl. I think his music just really lends itself to vinyl. But it's combined with Beethoven's Ninth. At least that's what I'm assuming. It looks like it, because it says Herb Alpert's Ninth, and it has a picture of Beethoven there. That's Herb Alpert down there, I believe. And yeah, this one actually has artwork on the back. Yeah. So I'm very excited about this one. I have high hopes for that one. Alright. Now this, I mean, Tony Bennett on vinyl. Come on. I left my heart in San Francisco. And what I like about this one is I don't believe it's a greatest hits. I could be wrong. I don't believe it's a greatest hits though. So the fact that it's an actual album, and let's see a copyright on here real quick, 1962. 60s, man. I'm all about the 60s, so that's another reason for loving vinyl. I mean, a lot of the albums were really popular there in the 60s. Okay, and then we have Henry Mancini. He did this particular one is some of his soundtrack work. I'm particularly excited about the Peter Gunn theme and Moon River. Those two. Side 1, I guess, is from television, and side 2 is from motion pictures. I kind of like that, and I love Henry Mancini. I think... Well, he did the Pink Panther. I don't know if you can see it. He did the Pink Panther soundtrack. Yeah. So I'm very excited about that. This one I picked up just because, first of all, it's an odd size. It's a lot smaller. I'll compare it to the Henry Mancini album. It's a lot smaller. Even the record is smaller. And yet, I believe it's still a 33 1/3 record. But, I mean, look at that. That's weird. That is weird. And it's clearly an import. It appears to be in French, and it looks like it's probably classical music. So, I mean, that's a win-win situation for me. Better pick up the pace here. We're pushing 15 minutes now. Here, this one, I love the artwork. Again, I think it's classical music. Yes, it's by an early Russian composer. It's not sealed. A lot of people that took care of the records would actually, they just open up the side, slide the record out, and leave the plastic on it to protect the, and that's great. That shows you that they were taking care of the record. So there's that one. Here we have a harpsichord one. I think harpsichord is really going to lend itself to being played on vinyl. So there's that one. I'm trying to hurry before we get to the 15-minute mark. I don't think I'm going to make it, but yes, then we have this one. I'm excited about this one because it's the Academy of St. Martin in the Fields. And obviously it's classical music. So I got a lot of classical music. This one, French lute music. I love the artwork on this one. It's nice and simple, and it has a classic feel to it. I really like that, and I like lute music. So this one, I actually have a soft spot for barbershop quartets. In this case, it doesn't look like it's quartets. It looks like it's what do you call them? Choirs. A barbershop choir. You see, presenting the big sound of barbershop harmony, Long Beach, California, in 1963. Apparently, it was a competition that they had. And let me tell you, other than the fact that I like barbershop music, let me tell you why I got this. That is because, in first place, we have the Citrus Belters Chorus from Riverside, California. Yeah, Riverside representing, yeah. Yeah, so that's that. And this is like 16 minutes now, so those are just some of the records I got today. I'm very excited, and when I actually get the record player going, I'll take some video and show some of these records playing so you can hear them too, and hopefully enjoy them with me. Alright, well, thank you for watching all 16 minutes of this, 16 plus, and I look forward to seeing you again, and thank you again for watching. I appreciate it.